Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, then I'm so happy to meet you. If not, then welcome back. As you can tell by the title of today's video, I'm going to be talking about my personal experience as a university student. First up, I want to say if you want to follow me over on Instagram, Facebook or TikTok, I will leave the details down below. I will also leave my email if anyone wants to get in contact. As always, if you'd like to get involved in the conversation down below and perhaps share your own experiences of university, then please do, and keep the comments kind. And turn on your notifications bell and you will get notified each time I have a new upload. So getting into today's video, I want to briefly say that school for me was really difficult, and I have touched upon it in other videos on my channel. It was difficult for many reasons. From a social point of view, I did have friends, but I did find social settings difficult. I found the noise difficult, the moving from class to class difficult, the fact that some classes I just had no interest in, and I also suffered with anxiety. When I moved to college, I enjoyed the classes much more because I was able to pick the classes I want to do and I could be more specific with what I wanted to do. Where I did struggle was living away from home, and that was something for me during my degree that I found really hard. I went to University College Dublin and I lived on campus there. Accommodation was amazing. I always lived with lovely people, but I found that living away from home quite hard. And within my sort of first and second year, I suffered with depression. I've talked about my depression on here before, and I think that held me back a lot and made me not enjoy the experience as much as I could have. But I did start medication, antidepressants, which helped me a lot, and I think it did help me towards the end of my degree. But I think looking back, the living away from home, the not being entirely comfortable in my environment. When you're at home, you have a safe space where you feel extremely comfortable, and I've always found that I actually work better at home than if I was in a library or anywhere else. The workload was difficult at times, keeping up with that workload. I have chronic fatigue, and so that was a huge thing that I think prevented me from in many ways doing as well as I could have. However, I did do very well, and I'm very happy with how I did in my degree, and I am glad I went to college because it was definitely a better experience than secondary school. I think something in college that I found difficult as well was to sort of make myself get out and about, make myself make friends, join societies, go to different events. That was something that I found really hard to motivate myself to do, and I'm sure people watching this video could probably relate to that. After my degree, I took a year out and I then went back to do a master's. And when I did my master's, I was only in college for classes 2 or 3 days a week, and they were a lot less hours than a degree. So I was able to live at home and I was able to commute up and down to Dublin, which I didn't mind doing. I quite enjoyed it. It was fine. But living at home for me made such a difference. I was able to study in my safe space. I felt so comfortable. I enjoyed being able to sleep in my own bed. I enjoyed being at home. And I've always said my mother is my best friend. That is completely true. And so being at home with her as well was a huge thing. I think, my apologies guys, we got cut off there, a few technical issues. As you guys know by now, IT is not my strongest point, but as I was saying, I live in the countryside, and for me, being in the countryside rather than being in a city setting definitely helped me as well. I enjoyed my master's so much more than I did my degree, and that's, as I said, because I was living at home. I felt more comfortable at home. I found, again, the modules and that were even more specific to what I really liked, and I sort of could have even more of a part in picking out those modules and what I really liked and focusing on that. Then there was the element that I was on my medication for quite a while at that point, and so I was able to feel better in that way. So I feel like there was a lot of elements that led me to preferring my masters. I made friends during my masters. I got on really well with everybody, which was really nice. As part of the masters, we went to see a play most weeks, and I feel like because it was kind of part of it and you kind of had to do it sort of thing, it was really good for me from a social point of view to have that and to have that every week, and I really enjoyed that, and I think it even encouraged me to get out more, which was fantastic. And I didn't really have that in my degree. I was very reluctant to get out. I used to just go back to my apartment and just sort of, you know, sit in the corner and take too many naps. I think that whilst university in many ways was difficult, it was easier than secondary school for me. It definitely was. And I'm so glad I did it, because it is an incredible experience. And, you know, I'm so blessed to have had that experience and have had access to education. But there are parts of it that were really hard. And looking back, a part of me wishes that I had been in a better space for the degree, and perhaps I would have gotten more out of it from, let's say, a social point of view. You know, I was blessed. I did do well in my degree. I actually did better in my masters, and I think that was because I was happier. Genuinely, I think that. But anxiety and fatigue were two of the biggest things for me during the degree, that just meant I found everything harder. I don't know, for people out there that are watching this that have been to university, college, school, if you have felt the same things. I know I've heard lots of autistic people, neurodivergent people, who have said that, you know, school, university, those experiences can be quite difficult. You know, when I went to UCD, it was so different. You know, there was different buildings, living away from home. I mean, so much noise, big crowds. So there was a lot to get used to. And I wasn't long diagnosed as being autistic, so I was still sort of figuring out sort of who I was and what that actually meant for me. But yeah, that's sort of my experience of university. I've done sort of top tips for going to university and videos like that, so if you want to check them out, they could be useful to you. If you, as I said already, if you have any stories you want to share of your experiences down below, or any questions for me, then please do feel free to share them in the comments. As always, thank you for watching today's video, and make sure to give it a big thumbs up if you liked it, and share